Good morning, everybody. I'm Nicola Barrett, Chief Corporate Learning Officer at Emory Executive Education at Goizueta Business School, and it's wonderful to see you all coming in from the waiting room this morning. Artificial intelligence has the potential, or maybe not even the potential, is reshaping the global economy. These days, it seems you can't open a newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, New York Times, Harvard Business Review, without seeing some article, or at least one article, on artificial intelligence. The trends, the debates, the potential regulations, how it's redefining work and the workplace. Research suggests that 2024, which we're already a third of the way through, is likely to be a defining year for generative AI worldwide, with global respondents planning significant investment and showing optimism about the technology's potential to improve efficiency and productivity, to accelerate innovation, and improve products and services. For business leaders, the challenge is twofold: understanding the possibilities and risks generative AI brings, and then preparing for the inevitable organizational change that will be required. Yet, as Emory's AI.Humanity strategy, which was launched over 2 years ago, and then as a recent Deloitte report asserted, the future success of generative AI will hinge on a renewed focus on humans, which is the good thing. With this context in mind, Rajiv Garg, our Associate Professor of Information Systems and Operations Management at Goizueta Business School, is here to help us explore AI's impact on the future of work. Rajiv's research interests are vast, but broadly his research explores the economic and social implications of digital technologies and human-centered interactions. His work highlights the importance of online social connections, strategic content placement, and information disclosures, providing insights for enhanced digital strategies. Recently, his research has delved into the applications of AI in education, in marketing, and e-commerce, specifically in consideration of the future of work. He's been published, his research has been published in many notable journals. He's also an award-winning teacher, including last year's Emory Provost Distinguished Teaching Award for Excellence in Graduate and Professional Education. So I'm not sure I've congratulated you on that yet, Rajiv, so congratulations.
Thank you, Nicola.
As with all our webinars, Rajiv's going to share some of his insights for 35 minutes. Please put your questions in the Q&A box or in the chat. If it's relevant to something that's happening in the moment, what Rajiv is talking about in the moment, I will try and interrupt him politely. If not, we've got time at the end for us to try and answer as many of those questions as possible. If this topic, and there's a number of you here today, is of interest to you, we do have an upcoming course that focuses on leveraging AI for business. This is not a technical course. This is about how do you, as a business manager, a business leader, executive, think about AI, the possibilities, the pitfalls, the applications, and how do you move forward with those in your organization. So if that's top of mind for you, there is the upcoming 2-day course here on campus. Also, we do have, the registration is now open for MBA level electives. So if you're thinking about, or you know someone who's thinking about doing an MBA and they'd like to dip their toe in the water and see what it's like, then those courses may be a great way to introduce them or you to doing an MBA. So please check those out. Rajiv, over to you.
Thank you, Nicola. And that's a wonderful introduction. I really appreciate all the kind words. I mean, I saw from the chat, I can't type in the chat, but like Ben is also in the audience, who is an expert in AI, a dear friend and a colleague at the Goizueta Business School. So thanks for joining, Ben. And everybody, thanks for coming to this session of Business Over Breakfast. My goal is simple, like just to talk a little bit about what we can do to prepare ourselves for our future of work as enabled by AI. We have seen, so far, a lot of different articles that talk about the future work with AI is promising. We have seen articles that talk about that there are going to be new jobs that are going to be created. AI cannot provide the cognitive skills that we need for our day-to-day job. And the future of AI needs more humans because we need to understand how algorithm works, how to interpret the outputs, and to even develop the AI. But on the other hand, the last 40 years, according to David Otter, has been increasingly difficult for the 65% of US workers who do not have a four-year college degree, widening the inequality and shrinking opportunities. So this erosion with the AI is inevitable. Best we can do is focus on the supply side, educating workers to meet the market demand. What he's talking about is because the AI is going to change how we work, what we do, we need to keep learning ourselves, reskill ourselves to be prepared for the coming future. There's also an article, a paper that says the chance of unaided machines outperforming humans in every possible task is estimated at 10% by 2027. So that's just 3 years away. That the machines can do a lot of the different jobs that we are working on, and at least 10% better than what we do on an average, right? But then the question comes, so will AI or will AI not take our jobs? This is a common question that I discuss in media and with a lot of places. The one key finding that I do believe and is important is that by 2030, AI will eliminate 73 million jobs. But 85% of the jobs that will exist haven't been invented yet. So I'm a more optimistic person when it comes to AI, thinking that how we can, the whole goal is to use AI to upskill and to do things better, to improve our productivity over time, right? There are articles that say 86% of the people are looking for AI to assist with their jobs, to find answers rather than turning to different humans. But 47% of US executives believe AI will increase the productivity. And these numbers that the 47% of the executives believe that the AI will increase productivity is going to keep increasing as we realize the potentials of AI in every single domain. But the bottom line here is that the AI is coming for our current job. It will transform the way we work, the things we do, and the use of our current skills in our jobs. The fine print is, if our job involves any repetition, content development, information acquisition, or just providing feedback to our employees or reports, it will transform in the coming future and the near future. So what made AI this good? This is a quick survey. If you can scan the QR code or go to menti.com and fill in 3 different words on why you think AI has become so good. The reason I'm asking this is to see and to show that the AI is going to continue becoming better over time. I'm going to give you all a minute to scan the QR code. So I started getting the responses. It's data, internet speed, efficiency, generative algorithms, learning, machine learning, efficiency, money, training. These are pretty, so the center or the dominant words here are the technology, data, machine learning, and speed.
Rajiv, we can't see your we can't see the Menti map coming up, the word map.
Okay.
We can just see what made, we just see the QR code screen.
Okay, let me. All right. So these are the responses we got. So technology, data, efficiency, speed. Can you see now?
Yes, thank
All
you.
right. Perfect. I'm going to go back to my slides. And thank you. So what you're saying is exactly the point I wanted to make here. You're all right. The key things that has made AI this good is data, algorithms, and computing. And yes, humans created all of those things, right? But the point is, AI can now generate text, code, data, images, voice, music, video, and more. AI can automate almost any machine process software user interface that exists. So if there's any task that is out there that either generates data or uses any form of digitized data, it could be automated. So essentially what I'm saying is any job that is a collection of tasks that uses any form of data or generates any form of data will be replaced. Now, I'm not saying the job is replaced, but I'm saying every task is replaced, but a job is collection of tasks. So we need to think about our work as a combination of these different tasks. So this AI can do some things better than us. In my own research, we compared AI-generated output with the human-generated output. And so in the context of marketing, we found that AI-generated ads outperform human-generated ads. Right? So if I were to create the search engine ads, the social media ads, any banner ads using AI, they can actually do a much better job than the human-generated ads on an average. They can do a better job for a specific demographic, but they actually do a poor job for a different demographic. AI-generated ads were most of the time liked by a younger audience versus a mid-age and older audience. Thus, we need humans to critically analyze these ads before actually deployment in the real world. So essentially, we're saying AI plus humans are better advertisers and can outperform AI and human advertisers. The AI plus human advertisers can outperform any of those because and be more productive than just humans alone. In terms of education, we found that the human-generated technical courses outperform any AI-generated courses. We found that AI-delivered technical courses do outperform human-delivered courses, right? So these are very two different things. So the humans can think, can do a critical assessment of their audience, their students, and provide a better content. But for delivery, we don't need humans anymore. Unless it's a discussion-based course, that's a different thing. We are doing that study right now. But for a technical course where there's relatively less discussion, but the flow of information, the human-generated courses the AI-delivered courses outperform human-delivered courses. So the future is essentially a combination of human-created courses, but the AI-delivered courses. I mean, a year from today, won't be surprised that we are doing this business over breakfast where I created the slides, but my avatar is delivering these slides. AI can also create voices to connect better with individuals. I mean, we have seen the movie Her, we've seen the movie Super Intelligence. We found that there's certain kind of voices that connect with people better, that actually engages them better for information seeking or purchasing behaviors or encouraging those behaviors in them. And AI can create all of these different voices. We also found that we can create viral content using generative AI, once we understand, using our algorithms, what kind of features are needed from the viral content. So we had sort of a recipe or the features for a viral content. We tell generative AI that I want to create a viral content, a video, or create a script or a tweet with these kind of words, it will do that. And these contents are likely to be more popular, more read, and more engaging. Nicola,
Rajiv, yes, Rajiv, Gary asks, I think you used the words that AI can do a better job. He asks, is it a better job or a quicker job than humans, or both?
It's a better job. Quicker is a given, but it's a better job. So when in the context of, say, marketing, the better is defined as the number of clicks the ads are getting compared, like the AI generated ads are getting compared to the human generated ads. For the education, the better implies the student performance in the courses. So students are performing better with the AI delivered courses compared to the human delivered courses.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicola. All right. We are also seeing that the AI-enabled product engineering and product placement will also take over the retail space. I have a different presentation on just exactly this slide later this afternoon. But what we're showing is right now, when you go to, say, Amazon, and you're looking at the products have a very static description based on the features that the product designers, the companies thought are relevant. As the next step, what we found is, so we can extract some features that are relevant for some individuals. The preferences change when they visit the platform. We can curate a new description that would be more attractive to you to answer the questions or the features you are looking for in the product. So as a result, you don't have to go through a sequence of products to figure out what you want to buy. You can actually find the products much more quickly and understand whether it meets your needs by reading just the description of those products. So AI can do some things better than us. Thus, there are some jobs that AI will replace, but there are some jobs that AI will enhance. One of the things, so this is a heterogeneous effect. So a report by McKinsey says that the AI will take away some of the jobs that have been hit and declining since 2020. These are customer service and office support jobs. AI will have little impact on jobs that are stalled since 2020. This is jobs like mine, educators, community service. AI will enhance the resilient jobs and increase opportunities for the jobs that have been growing since 2020. And these are the health, law, or STEM professional jobs. So recall that 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 have not been invented yet. So what we are showing here or talking about here is only some of the jobs that existed 3-4 years ago, but there's still a huge number of jobs that are being created right now and will be created over the next 4 or 5 years. And I asked this topic of AI, I asked the question to ChatGPT, what jobs are AI likely to replace? And so whatever was in the McKinsey report, ChatGPT gave me almost the same answers. The administrative support jobs, the customer service job, manufacturing and data warehousing jobs, transportation, retail, banking, and finance will be replaced by AI moving forward. Whereas if I asked what jobs that generative AI will replace, like the ChatGPT, the Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini are likely to replace, this is data entry and processing, customer support, content generation, research and information retrieval, scheduling, and administrative tasks. So we are seeing a huge shift in what jobs are going to be replaced or transformed in this coming time. So we can exploit then the AI for massive new opportunities. We need to incrementally innovate and make ourselves, our teams and our organizations AI fluent. So we need to first, to make ourselves AI fluent, we need to first understand our job work distribution. I mean, this is one thing, or the key thing in this talk is I don't want to say that the AI will transform my entire job without talking about the micro level on how it's going to transform different tasks that we perform. So 57, according to a Microsoft survey, 57% of the time people spend is on communication. 43% of the time is what they spend on creation. If you think about it, both of these things could be transformed very easily in today's time with AI. And no wonder Microsoft introduced and embedded their Copilot into their suite of features or software. So some of these tasks can be very easily automated. Some tasks will require a diversity of input or collaboration. So essentially, we can divide the task in two different buckets, an individual task and a collaborative task. And this is how I define the distribution of work. So if you think about the distribution of jobs in any workplace, and you can think about it for individual level, for your teams, for your organization, any size, it doesn't matter. If we think about a marketing firm with just 3 roles, a content creator, a manager, and a chief marketing officer or an executive, right? They are likely to be more content creators performing mostly the independent tasks. So in the graph on the right side, I'm showing on the x-axis, in the horizontal axis, the number of people who are involved in a certain kind of a role. On the y-axis, I'm showing the extent of collaboration needed for those jobs. So for these content creators, they have a very little collaboration need for performing their jobs. And there are more people who are performing the role of the content creation. There are some managers which will be leading these creative efforts and orchestrating these collaborations. If there are, say, 4 or 5 content creators, maybe there are 2 managers. There are 20 creators, there's 2 managers. Like it could be any combination. And then there is one executive that is overseeing the entire business and operations with limited independent tasks. The goal of the CMO is to collect information, to collaborate with others, to understand how the company is operating, collect data points from the industry, and then make decisions. The reason I'm sharing this is essentially, if you look at this chart, so there is a lower level of collaboration for some jobs, a high level of collaboration for some other jobs, and high level of collaboration for some other jobs. So this shows us a distribution for your organization, for your team, for all the jobs that exist in your organization and team. AI will affect each of these roles differently, right? And so as a result, we need to understand what is that distribution of our job or task within our job. So content creators can be more productive with AI-enabled content generation. So either they reduce the number of creators or expand the business if they are more effective or more productive. We're going to talk about a blue ocean strategy a little bit later. So the blue ocean strategy is essentially saying there are new opportunities that we need to explore. If a content creator traditionally has been creating, say, these display advertisements for Google or Facebook, as a next step, we can actually create personalized ads for the individuals, for our customers, or hyper-personalized ad using generative AI. So the same content creator that was creating one ad in a given time can now create 1,000 ads in the same amount of time and then reach the customers better. Managers can be more efficient with AI-enabled automation. They want to collect information, they want to understand the metrics, they want to create a dashboard to understand how each project, each campaign is working. We can automate all of those things now. So we need to potentially then reduce the number of managers or expand again the new business to see what new collaborations could be created, maybe outside of just this marketing organization. Maybe managers could be the business development people as well to generate and gain more business. If I have a team which is able to hyper-personalize the ads, I can now, rather than targeting a specific industry, I can target more industries because now I have bandwidth, right? CMOs will still need to process new data, market, and opportunities. So we will need an increased, there'll be an increased need for agile CMOs who can understand data, who can guide the adoption of AI within the organization, like if this was a marketing firm. I mean, this is just one case I'm talking about right now. Nicola, I see a bunch of questions in the Q&A. Please feel free to interrupt, like if there's something that I need to answer.
I'm checking them. I'm also checking the chat, Rajiv. So lots of questions coming up. So keep moving, and I will interrupt if there's something relevant at the moment.
Thank you, Nicola. All right. So to essentially generalize, this AI's influence on job distribution, and to generalize the job distribution itself. If you look at the graph on the right, so it's the same graph as before, where we had the marketing, the content creators, the managers, and CMO. And we were showing on the y-axis the level of collaboration for each of those roles. Now, if you were to take the same marketing firm, but we have, say, 100 employees, this graph is going to look more smooth, like the one I'm showing you. And I'm going to talk about how this graph could potentially look for different industries or organizations or teams as well a little bit later. But the point is, any organization, any team, we can create a distribution of the individual task and the collaborative task in such a fashion. This essentially tells us or gives us an idea how much of these individual or collaborative tasks could be automated in that organization or could be replaced by an AI in that organization. So in the short term, there will be added additional opportunities to enhance your work with AI, which is what I call as an AI exploration band, which is the orange band that you see along the original distribution of the task and collaboration across each job. So essentially what I'm saying is for every single job, there's going to be some X% of the task in the short term that are easily replaceable by AI, be it the individual task or the collaborative task. These X% of the transformations will enhance our jobs, will improve our productivity. And I'm not saying they're replacing the job. I'm saying they're just replacing some X% of my tasks or jobs that I'm working on at any given time in my team or organization. Eventually, in the long term, we're going to see, as we keep innovating, every organization will have a dedicated team for AI development and innovation. These are the new jobs that will be created to identify opportunities for any single business. Right? We think about like in 1990s, the rise of computers and the internet. No organization has an IT team to help us do things better. Now every organization has an IT team to help build solutions for us, dashboards, software, provide tech support, and so forth. We're going to see the same kind of a thing with AI. There are teams that are going to help build solutions, wrappers, using AI to enable new business, new opportunities for us. Then we will have some transform jobs, which will essentially be AI plus human jobs, which will use AI heavily in increasing the productivity, reaching new opportunities or businesses or projects frequently. So think about this AI as a service team, which is going to use different AI tools and methods available to enhance our work and improve our shareholder value. And then finally, the traditional jobs are going to shrink. And so you can see the task and collaboration. The X on the Y-axis, I shifted the lowest point for the task to have some collaboration as well. So there's almost no job that will rely purely on my independent work. We will need to enrich whatever we're doing in partnership with the others within our organization. So this AI exploration band, AI is replacing the individual tasks. Some of these individual tasks can be replaced with AI because of generative AI speed and accuracy. We can generate content much faster right now. And the content is accurate as well. And when I say generative AI, it could be generating anything, like from emails, text, messages, reports, dashboards, a code, literally anything. And because of automation tools, like I go to a platform like maybe open Excel, copy data, create chart, click on a bunch of things, everything could be automated. AI replaces also collaborative tasks. So some of these collaborative tasks will be replaced because of dispersion and individual learning speed. And so when I say dispersion and individual learning speed, so think about if I and Nicola are working together and my learning for AI is, say, much slower than Nicola. Nicola wants a feedback on a report that she created, and I'm slow because I'm not using as much AI. She's going to get a feedback from AI, maybe improve the report, submit it without my need. So as a result, this collaborative task that I had with Nicola is going to be replaced by AI, where Nicola becomes more efficient using the AI. Generative AI will fill the needs of the others. In this case, like Nicola was using AI versus coming for feedback from our peers. And automation personalization tools will reduce also the need of others. So the solutions to minimize the replacement and maximize the enhancement is training on different AI tools, expand the scope of work, allocate 10% of your weekly time to replace 10% of your annual work with AI, right? We need to incrementally start thinking what we can do, like what 1% change we can make every single month, every few weeks. Like with a 1% change, I mean, suppose we have emails, we go through every single email, but there are some emails where we don't have to act, right? Where maybe they mention a keyword, and the moment we see a keyword, we just move them to a folder. Create rules, right, to move those emails. You're going to realize that you have a lot more free time to do other things. And this, to think about these solutions, you need that 10% weekly time to just think, what can you change among the different tasks that you engage in every single week? And then document. So we talked about that data is important. We generate data. And as a result, if we consolidate all of the data in one place, we collect the data that we are generating, maybe our decisions, our dashboards, our articles that we are writing. That data is the gold mine for the future. That data is needed to provide contextual learning and generation from the AI. We have talked about the hallucination in the AI because the AI sometimes doesn't know the context. But if we have a data repository for our organization, the AI could actually augment the generative process with our in-house data repository and give us even better answers, perform even better. So we need to maybe document and collect the information we are generating over time. So if we were to generalize these work distributions, and because they could vary by industry, there could be literally any kind of a distribution that you will see. The first graph that I have on the right, which shows more flat structure, some organization may have consistent level of individual tasks and collaboration across every single employee. And I mean, take an example of consulting. Every consultant does some things on their own, but also requires collaboration with the others. Maybe that distribution is going to be more flat. But the AI exploration band will also be the plus or minus X% around that same distribution line. Some organizations may have even more even distribution of the roles that require individual tasks and collaboration. There are a couple of people who are doing pure independent tasks, where there are a couple of people who rely entirely on collaborations, right? We're going to see one of those two different kinds of graphs that we see on the right. I mean, the example for the middle one is manufacturing. There are people on the manufacturing line, they're independently working, but there are people who are collaboratively making sure that the products are of high quality, the process is followed correctly, they're doing the analytics to understand the demand and generating the product. For the bottom lines, this could be supply chain where there's no middle ground, like either they're individuals working purely independently in the organization, or they're people who rely heavily on the collaboration, but in between is something different, right? So we can create these distributions literally for any organization or any team. So what can AI do? I mean, this is an article that I wrote. So all of these pictures that you're seeing is from an online article, which is the link you are also seeing. So AI can enable generation of new content or any digital content. AI can automate things. They are both essentially going to replace some of the independent tasks on the job. AI-enabled augmentation to complement what we are creating with new data from other sources. We are creating a dashboard. We start typing in some numbers or start creating charts. It pulls in the data from the database and augments it with some richer insights on that graph. It can also create personalization. So if I am creating a report, it knows what I'm looking for. It's going to start personalizing the information for my need. We can have an ad that is created, which will be delivered differently to Nicola versus the way it's presented to me. So AI can do all those personalizations as well. So then the question comes to, how do I start making my team AI fluent and for the future, and AI proof my workforce for the future as well? So I have a very simple framework that I developed to answer this question. The first step is measure distribution of work for your organization and your team, or just for you as an individual. The second step is identify tasks that could be replaced by AI-enabled generation, automation, augmentation, or personalization. The third, estimate an AI exploration band score. So I'm going to talk about that formula a little bit. It's a very simple thing. All I'm saying is there is certain tasks or time you spend during a week on certain tasks, and what is the importance of that task for replacement with AI in your industry. If you take the product of those, you will get the score. And then increase this score over a defined period of time, which is essentially going to make you more AI fluent, more productive, and as a result, perform better and keep transforming your job for the future. So for the first step is ask questions, right? I have a QR code. So the questions I'm showing on the slides is essentially the questions on that survey. So if you take 3-4 minutes, which is essentially the question, how much time you spend on individual tasks, how much time you spend on the collaborative tasks, and what percentage are repeated, what percentage are creative development, what percentage require feedback from others. So there's like literally 6-7 questions around that. So please take 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes to answer this survey. And I will see if I'm able to process the results quickly. I will share those results with you as well. Nicola, might be a good time for questions now.
We have lots of questions. One of them, Stephen asks about, can you address how to see unintended bias in our learning models and AI generated outputs? And what are the best practices recommended for this sort of people-machine collaboration in decision-making? So it's really two questions there. So bias is the first one, unintended bias.
Okay. So I mean, the bias is going to be there. So like we were saying, so Ben and I are working on the project of the marketing that I was talking about, the advertising. The goal is essentially to see if there is a bias in the content that is created. And the answer is yes, there is a bias, right? But the problem is, can we truly say we can remove the bias? The answer is no. So this is where we need the humans to understand what bias is sort of in the model, but what features are associated which are biased against. The features, when I say is, if you were to generate a text and you know for a certain demographic, there's certain kind of words that are necessary to represent or to present to that demographic. Have a list of those words. So this is where we talk about the methods for reducing the hallucination, but we're saying the same thing. We collect a feature words that we are telling the large language models or generative AI systems that use this list to actually tune your answers, like fine tune your answers that are being generated for us. So as a result, we can debias these models using our own data, and that's what we're trying to do ourselves. Over time, so I have another article, which you can find on my page. This bias is going to will keep increasing over time. So organizations, the platforms need to prioritize the content creators whose data is being generated, right? The bias exists because there is a certain demographic that doesn't contribute as much for the data generation process, the data that is going in these models. They need to prioritize those over time. It's not an easy task. It cannot be done immediately. But for organizations for now, they need to create a collection of those features, words, to fine-tune these models at this time.
That's fascinating. How are you going with the survey?
So I have 5 responses, but I see there are a lot of people taking.
Okay. So I can ask you another question?
Maybe one more question, and then we can continue.
So Ali asks, I'm not sure if it's Ali or Ali, sorry. Do you argue that the role of programmers will be taken by AI in the future? And if yes, what's the alternative for those who want to learn programming?
That's a great question. I think, so by training, I was a programmer. Like I got my computer science degree 24 years ago in AI and intelligent systems back then. But so what I think is, if you're writing very superficial, very simple code, yes, your job will be taken by AI. But the programmers are going to be becoming more powerful because everything you wanted to do, like start a coding, if I were to say build a mobile app right now that creates a customer service portal for my organization, if I was a programmer, say 4 years ago, it'll take me a month, 2 months, 3 months to maybe build a prototype for this app. Today, a programmer can build a prototype in less than a day, right? So are we saying because I'm much faster in doing this, AI provides me the whole skeleton code, and now I can build on it? So is my job taken away, or I'm becoming more productive, right? I see this as becoming more productive. AI took away the task of writing the initial code, but then I'm developing that code for growing my business or my sort of the customer base, right? So the value of the programmers is gonna, I think, increase over time, especially the programmers who can use the generative AI tools to write the code.
Okay. How are you going on your survey?
So I have about 20 responses, and
one more question.
Sure.
All right. So building on this, we've talked about, programmers and their future. What about Serena asked, what about folks who are more people-oriented workers? Are there roles that you anticipate they will still be needed, or do we all have to become technical?
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to then. So I'm not going to go over the survey responses because it's going to take time to dissect, and I know I'm short on time. But the question you asked is essentially what's in this questionnaire, right? For any collaborative task where you are working with other humans, so we can classify these in multiple different ways. One, so are these collaborations effective or ineffective? Like there was a study recently that said 60% of the employees feel that half of their meetings are ineffective, right? They go to the meeting, they waste their time, right? These are the meetings we need to drop, right? They will be replaced with or without the AI. I mean, AI can summarize the meeting, looking at the caption of the meeting. We can have recording devices and say, I don't need to go to the meeting, whatever was discussed, I got it in 2 minutes, right? But then there are also collaborative tasks where I meet with somebody to collect feedback. That could be accelerated, amplified using AI as well. There's also the collaborations where I tell somebody, these are my requirements, can you help me fill this information? Find me this data, find this resources. Those could also be automated with the AI. And so these are the sort of some variables I talked about. The hours spent on individual tasks, what % of tasks are repeated, require the creative development, creative thinking, what % of tasks require feedback from others, require pulling additional information, and so forth. The PT and PD that you see, what % of tasks require creative thinking, they won't be replaced by AI, at least in this foreseeable future. What % of tasks that require discussion with others, like again, effective discussion, which is PD, is not going to be replaced by AI. So essentially, what I'm saying is, again, to estimate this AI web. So one, if you were to visualize the distribution of work, so the survey that we provided helps us create this kind of a plot, right? Which tells how much time you're spending in individual tasks versus how much time you're spending in collaborative tasks, right? So we can then put in all those numbers that we just saw. And I mean, don't be scared of this formula, because all this is saying is the percentage of time I spent in my repetitive tasks, percentage of time I spent in the collaborative tasks multiplied by the weight. The weight is essentially based on the industry telling me how important it is right now to replace these tasks with AI, right? If I reach the AI EB score of 1, then nothing more can be replaced by AI for that industry, for that individual, that team. If AI EB score is 0, then literally everything in your team, in your job, can be replaced by AI. So our goal is then to increase this score over time. When I talk about these weights, like the weights are associated with tasks that could be replaced by AI-generated automation, generation, augmentation, without going into much detail. One of the simplest thing I say is you can look at these weights to be the percentage area in your distribution curve, right? So we created a distribution of jobs, and now we're saying, I'm going to estimate these weights as how much area is in this quadrant, how much area is in this quadrant, and I can then put in all of these numbers in this formula, right? So that's the easiest way to get these W. So the goal eventually is to chip away 1% of the 4 Ps, the repetitive task, the creative development task, the, I forgot, the F was the require feedback from others, and requires that pulling the PA, which is the task that require pulling additional information from other sources or individuals. Your PT, which is the thinking, which is general intelligence, and the crowd intelligence, which is PD, the effective discussions for decision making, will essentially increase over time as you chip away at these 4 Ps. Those 2 Ps, the general intelligence and crowd intelligence, are necessary and will not be replaced with AI, at least in the foreseeable future. So taking an example, I pulled up created some numbers, and I estimated for an organization that has almost equal weight for all 4 different kind of tasks, spends about 20 hours on individual tasks, 20 hours on the collaborative task, with certain percentage distribution for each of the tasks. I came up with the AIB score of 8.875. So this is closer to being fully replaced by AI and being more effective. The higher the AIB number, that means you are very productive, effective, but don't be fooled like by the high number. The high number doesn't mean 0.875. The high number in this case would be about 0.95, right? But if you were to change the clarity, which is the weight on some different tasks, your number could drop by just 0.05. But if you were to say, I'm going to prioritize the different tasks which I spend the most time on, which is say the collaborative task, then this could be replaced by generative AI, then my AIB score could change to 0.18. Our goal is to essentially increase these numbers by 1%. For every 1% change in these numbers is essentially my 1% gain in individual productivity. If I take an average of this for the entire organization, that's the 1% gain in the organizational productivity. If we target this number as the 10% for the whole year, we are improving the productivity of the organization by 10%. So the very simple strategy is drop ineffective collaborative tasks, give time to employees to think, innovate, and go beyond their defined job description. 1% chipping of tasks could be at the individual or team levels. Encourage collaboration that add diversity of thought to a given task. And think of blue ocean with AI. So a blue ocean strategy says, so typically when we're working for an industry, red ocean strategy says you're competing in a given domain. For an individual, you're working in a well-defined scope of your job description. You are essentially trying to do better than the others. You want raises, you want promotion. You're trying to do things a little better than before, right? The more time you spend, the more returns you get in a red ocean strategy. It's called a red ocean strategy because you are in a water where there's a lot of competition, everybody's working hard. And so essentially the water gets red by all this war between the fish fighting for their own space. The blue ocean strategy says, if you look outside your boundaries, like where you're currently fighting with the others, and this is a corporate strategy. So if you go outside your current competition space, you're essentially in uncontested market space, which has new opportunities, and you're making the competition irrelevant. So you can use AI to amplify your skills. You can use AI to demonstrate higher productivity, go beyond your typical job, and enhance productivity. And I'm sorry I'm going a little faster because I got notified that I'm running very low on time.
So Rajiv, yes. We're going to have you come back and continue this, because we have there's lots of questions on chat. We've got 11 questions on the Q&A that I haven't got to yet. So maybe if you want to wrap up this slide, and then we'll hand over to Pam.
No, I think I covered most of the things. The key idea: embrace AI to enhance work. You plus AI is better than you. Identify industry, understand work distribution, and chip away 1% of the 4 Ps, and take time to think and engage in discussions to explore new opportunities. So that's the key, sort of the conclusion from this presentation.
Thank you so much. Now, if people keep replying to the survey, will you be able to incorporate their results too?
Yes, so the survey could work for a team or an organization. Right now, my organization is essentially the audience, which are very dispersed. What I can do is pull all the numbers together to show you what the distribution looks like for my audience. And just to give a sense of when your response helped create that distribution of work for the 240 people that were here.
We'd love to see that. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
Really
Rajiv, one of the things I also thought about is that we can send a note out to all of our participants and include the code for your survey, because there are some participants who joined via phone today, and I missed that in the chat and didn't get that posted to the chat so they could participate. So I'll send that out as well, and you might get some more responses. So we'll try to get that done just as soon as we get the registrant participant list posted. With that, I would love to share very quickly what's coming up next on Business Over Breakfast. So let me get that pulled up here real quick so you can see. So our next Business Over Breakfast will be May the 2nd, and we're going to focus on courageous communication and female leaders with Robin Mladek. Now, you're sitting here thinking, if you're a male, do I need to participate in this? And of course you do. You work with female leaders, you lead female leaders, and it's always important to serve as a coach and mentor, whether you're a peer, a boss, or subordinate. So we invite you to join that conversation. And then, oh, forgot to change the date. Sorry, that's my bad. Our second Business Over Breakfast in May will be rethinking organizational real estate to optimize economics. And it may have a bent towards how to leverage your real estate setup to increase employee engagement. Then what's coming up with Emory Executive Education, as Nicola mentioned at the top end of our webinar, if you'd like to dive in a little bit more into this idea around how we're leveraging AI in business, check out our AI for Business course on our website and our fall upcoming MBA courses that are 4-credit courses are also listed here. You can find more on our website or reach out directly to my colleague, Tammy Long, for those courses. Thanks again, Rajiv. It is always awesome to have you here. I learn something from you every time we talk, much less get to hear more about your research. We appreciate everyone joining us. And if you're like me, I'm so excited that spring is here and all the flowers are blooming, and peonies are one of my favorite. I inherited some from my mom, and they are just about to burst with color. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on our next Business Over Breakfast. Take care.
Thank you, Pam, Nicola, and everyone. Thanks for joining.